All right. And we are live. All right. Cool. So, welcome everyone to KatKast, the podcast where governance meets growth. So, I'm Katherine, the founder of Katashe Solutions and Secretary General at Access. Over the past decade, I've worked across finance, technology, and mission driven startups, helping scale ecosystems across APAC, building for public goods. So, KatKast is where we explore the real mechanics of innovation, anything from DAO governance to staking policies to financial inclusion, on-chain education, and the future of public goods. So if you care about how systems scale and who they serve, you're in the right place. So today I have a very special guest. I started podcasting earlier this year in the month of January 2025, and one of the people who really inspired me was Anson. Yeah, so he joins me today. He's inspired me to experiment, to shape whilst building, and yeah, really do it transparently in public, right? So 12 months later, it really feels like a full circle moment. We're both,
Yeah.
of course, still builders, still venture builders. We're still, really doing our podcasting. But now the conversation shifted towards something more meaningful, more on how we govern and build safely, responsibly, and what it means to help people enter DeFi in a way that makes them stay. So, Anson, welcome to KatKast. It's really good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Finally, now I'm the guest.
Yeah, it's really been a full circle moment. So, and so tell me what you've been up to. Like you've been doing so many ventures and it's very AI driven. Yeah, can you share a bit more?
So I've also been fiddling with AI since obviously ChatGPT 3.5. Uh, it was really crappy back then. Obviously, yes, it was fast, but it really allowed me to see where things are going because from then the AIs were competing like crazy. So my
Mm,
thinking was that AIs would definitely be smart enough to do a lot of things that I want to do that I couldn't do if I couldn't get the right people to do. So I've always wanted to do things that solve big problems, uh, and yeah, usually it's early, but it's at the end of the tunnel, let's say in 5 to 10 years' time, I'll be like, see, you should have done it earlier. Yes, it will be hard, but you should have just keep pushing. I don't want that regret anymore. So yeah,
mm,
so I want to now work on things that I am good at, and also my combining my old self. I think some of you have seen my post that I'm now doing actually three main projects that are external, like three different projects, which is in one is in DeFi now. One will be in HR startup, which is targeting AI displacement, people that are being displaced by AI, and then the third one is private AI, and then
mm.
I always itch to do a fund, but now with AI, I can quickly get the algorithms up, and this is internal. So I'm not planning to do a fund, just planning to manage my own money and so on. So yeah, but everything is done very quickly with AI. Otherwise, it would have taken ages to even be able to do this simultaneously.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really excited to follow this journey of yours very closely, this multiple portfolio journey, right? Because you did mention you mentioned you wanted to build in the areas of startups, scaling startups with AI, and you talked about displacement. How do you upskill talent? I think is probably another way to
Yeah.
reframe it, and then also to build in like private permission type of spaces with the right safeguards in AI as well. And speaking about safeguards, like I always think about how do we create safeguards as a form of good governance, because there's a lot of discussion about AI ethics and whatnot, and it's also kind of it runs parallel to DeFi conversations also, like, oh,
Yes.
how do we govern with DAOs and votes and formal structures. But I feel like in practice, right, like users actually encounter governance much earlier in more like extracted forms. Like when they try to enter or break through in DeFi, they encounter a lot of like risk or trust issues and confusion navigating the UX. So Anson, in our both our capacities, right, at Access, for example, when we try to build community and safe ecosystems for responsible digital asset adoption, like I always feel like the biggest barrier to DeFi adoption is more like unmanaged risk and fear, FUD, FOMO. From your perspective, what do you think makes DeFi feel unsafe or intimidating to someone who is curious, but not quite reckless, just curious? Yeah.
Yes. So I think after 12 years being in crypto and going to be in it way longer now, I have not, okay, very bluntly speaking, I have given up the hope to have everything in a centralized governance form, meaning to get everyone on the same page. It reaches to a point where even if you are trying to do good in a sense to get everyone on the same page, there will be actors there that will want to then act alone to get the influence. Say, for example, the travel initiative that I helped with the Financial Action Task Force. Initially, everyone was on the same page because there was no definitions, there was no baseline. The expectations, we actually don't know where it will go. Once all that was set, when everyone is like on the so-called same page, there were some actors that started going alone. Okay, going alone, saying that they have this baseline and say, hey, I have a larger base of customers, you use my product. Okay, we will go with a different set of rules. So we sort of will deviate from what was agreed. Seen that was basically where travel rules went to. Okay, so in what I'm saying is human greed will always be here. It's very hard to get everyone on the same page. And this was for centralized crypto entities. But now in DeFi, it's going to be even harder. How are you going to get everyone on the same page? There will always be some good actors, but there will be actors that you don't know if they're good or bad because you don't know who they are because it's DeFi. So my thinking now is as long as the stakeholders who are the ones taking the risk, if we can give them the right tools, they just have to do their own due diligence, at least have that level. Because I really don't see how we can get, tried many years how to get the DeFi people together. Yes, there will be groups of people that do DeFi like you. And then the ones that are selfish and greedy will look at what you do and then they will start changing. Yeah. So my sense now is a lot of them, especially in the crypto space, are very focused on post checks, meaning only when something happens, then you go and check whether this is criminal, this is sanctioned, this is terrorism. But no one really does pre-checks. Okay. So that's now, this is what I'm focusing on for this particular DeFi product. And I think pre-checks is more important. Because we really cannot control where DeFi goes.
Yeah, I think it's useful tooling because I did tinker around with it a bit. It's in the form of a Telegram bot right now. It's called Sir, Is It Safe? SITS. Yes. So, Anson, if you can share a little bit more, I know that it was actually born out of like some of your research, your AI research through Reddit forums and all, and what the DeFi community was pain points are. Can you share a little bit more about that journey, that discovery journey?
Yes. So actually, at the beginning, it was from my AI journey first. So it started with it's still, the website still works. It's called usemcpguard.io. What it does is it checks for malicious MCP servers. So what is MCP? So today, when you use ChatGPT, Claude, or whatever, right now, if you use its plain vanilla functions, it's basically a chat, right? You can type to it, it responds. But there's another step. You can actually add what now they call connectors, which are still MCPs, where you can say to Claude or ChatGPT, hey, I want to write an email to this person. can you go to my Notion page to have a check on the information and then write a email draft onto my Gmail? So you can actually connect different things, right? But there are over 9,000 now. I think that was 6 months ago. I'm sure now there's over 15,000 different so-called open source connectors where you can actually connect to your ChatGPT or Claude. My biggest problem with that is, how do you know who's actually coding it with malicious intention or not? So when I coded that, use MCP guard, it's for me to check whether this particular open source is good to use straight away and which ones are not. Okay, and then but now things have moved forward where there are official ones, but official ones are now very constrained. But the use of MCP is not there. So maybe use MCP guard, this sort of concept will be good 5 years down the road because it's still very early. Right? Yeah. And then I translated this to the DeFi side, where when people go into crypto, they're only looking at the price action. They're looking at if the community is really here, and see if the price will go up. But there is a particular risk that DeFi has that in centralized traditional markets don't have, and that is the scam risk. Right? Is it fraudulent? Is the token actually fraudulent in the first place? Because if you buy Tesla, if you buy any stock, it's the DD checks is done by the exchange, right? And all the auditors and all that. But the tokens, including meme coins, are not, right? And these sort of things are not checked at the beginning before the person goes in. So what I'm trying to do is, before the person goes into the token, seeing that there's potential, check whether this coin itself is malicious. Are they there to mislead you to do what they call slow rug? Okay, so it actually goes up slowly, and then we can actually check on that. I have that in the pipeline for SITs as well. It's because there's actually 14 types of crypto scams in total for now, and it keeps growing. That is from drainware to, meaning like they're here to drain your wallets. They're here to give you, some of them are here to give you the, wow, I profited, so I'm going to keep going in. And then they rug you at the very end. There's so many different ways. So that's why through Reddit, I was trying to see what people are doing. And very obvious, the scamming, the rugging is still very pervasive. North Korea just this year just scammed $2 billion off the crypto market. Wow. Right? So it's still not safe. So no matter what the governance is, it will be good for the good ones that will put in the guardrails. But then again, because there are guardrails and people see that as a friction, they might go into the ones without guardrails. Right? Then the ones without guardrails, they are definitely going to go that way. Might as well give them the check first to know who is dealing with this. Because you can now even know which coin, the creator, have they rugged others before. You can actually get that information now. There's a lot of different vendors out there to give information like this.
Okay. No, that's very interesting. Yeah, because then with blockchain intelligence, you can kind of trace the activity of these creators. Even if they create, say, a new unhosted wallet or something, that there should be some way of tracing.
Yes, and all of this is only when someone gets rugged, then you can start finding the info. But now but there's a lot of this info now. We use this to put in the pre-checks before they go in. This is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's very useful. Yeah, for the community for sure. And I think these are the kind of conversations we should be having a lot more. Because when I went into DeFi, more so from both from a builder lens and also like just a governance lens and investor lens, like I had a lot of I spent a lot of time on research, really, like just looking across my Twitter newsfeed, X newsfeed, and I noticed that in terms of social signaling, like in terms of DeFi culture, my feed was very, very skewed towards profit taking, like quick profits, as you mentioned, like the make a fast money type of culture. Predominantly perps as an instrument, a trading instrument. I mean, not to say that it's bad. It's a powerful innovation for sure. It's like you can see the funding rate. It's very clear. It's easy to take bets, but it's very highly leveraged bets. And I feel like it's more for a high trading frequency culture, and sophisticated participants who really understand extreme risk. But it is like the dominant DeFi signal. So I feel like when that becomes the loudest signal, how does it really shape, DeFi culture, and what do you think gets lost in translation? Because Vitalik tried to go against this trend with he published like a low risk DeFi thesis that enables sustainable innovation in DeFi, and he cites like blue chip type of projects like Aave, for example, lower yields but more sustainable. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think both of us have been through working with regulators a lot in terms of trying to so-called, I would say so-called protect consumers. But why I say so-called? Because when you are doing things that ban someone, for example, right now, in Singapore, if you have any crypto activity that deals in crypto, you will need a license to do things.
Mm.
And it is, actually, to me, could be done better. Actually, I don't need to mince my words because I won't be access. I'm already not going to be access chair next year anyway. When you ban when we ban activities, when people have demand for it, it's going to go underground. We went through this before. Maybe the old guard in MAS back then, they understood this, but the new ones just not fully understanding this. When you ban something, it will go underground. Like back then, when all the banks were trying to cut off the activities of crypto, then that was the beginning of stablecoins because the exchanges didn't have bank accounts. Point is, when people want to trade and you try to stop them, they will find ways to go in. So when Vitalik says that they have a low risk DeFi, but if the entry point is the same, entry point meaning there is no extra friction to go into the low risk ones, same as the high ones. But the high ones, with the information that came to me, seem to have a lot of potential. Why would I want to go to the low ones? So the human greed plays a big role. You can offer all these different ones, but the ease of access is just too easy to get in. But then if you block again, if regulators come in to try and block, they will find another way because this is all open source. So key, yes, education is key, but giving the right info to the person that is participating is now much more important because right now in DeFi, the information is still everywhere. There is no one taking care of the risks of the actual token right now. So in my view, I don't fully agree with Vitalik, okay, because you have low risk, but if the ease of access for the higher risk ones are the same, why would I go for the low risk ones? Yeah.
Got it. So it's a scarcity factor that enables that innovation to happen. Like how you mentioned the stablecoin innovation, because the crypto companies are still getting debanked.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, yeah, the thing is, it's also quite scary to see like perps, for example, being like available for, yeah, just on MetaMask and other wallets. It's like, oh, you can just like take a punt. Like,
Yeah.
or but some people say like perps are a way to manage risk. I'm not sure about that. What do you think?
Well, this definitely won't be for retail to understand how to manage risks. Because in my old fund management days, you can actually leverage using perps and options to write super steroided covered calls, for example, for options. because instead of actually buying the stock, you buy the perps. Perps is leverage. Then when perps are leverage, you can buy a bigger, like a lot more options at the same time, right? So it depends, because perps you can also short. Then depending on what the strategy is, if you basically allow it so-called to protect the your portfolio, right? So my biggest problem is right now, I mean, most regulators or even people are saying education is key. But I want to tell everyone that we've been doing this for 12 years, education. Okay. You guys have not been around. For the ones that are saying we still need education, because they haven't been around for the last decade. Okay. We've been doing that. So it's more than education that we need. So one example would be when I research on Claude and on multiple LLMs on a particular topic, it reaches to a particular topic that it looks at other websites, for example, phishing. Okay, so PHISH, phishing. They say that all the LLMs are basically saying that we have to educate the user to protect them from not touching the websites. But let's think in reality. You are going to touch websites where it's new, because you will always have new things coming in. How are you so sure that which one you won't touch, which one you touch will get hit? Are you going to ban the user from not actually clicking on links? Right? So to me, when you say education is key and you're going the banning way to do things, it basically means you haven't really thought through how to protect the user. We need more than just education. So another example would be when on Reddit, I also my name is not like transparent there. I use another name of mine. I asked them how they deal with the phishing, and they say just don't touch any addresses with airdrops. Okay, addresses that you haven't seen. But when airdrops come, when they look so good, your intention will be to actually go and try.
And touch.
Okay, you go and touch, right? Because you don't want to miss out. The FOMO is there. Okay, but if you have a way to actually go and check the actual addresses, and for example, in Services Safe, we're adding where you can check the airdrop. If it doesn't link to the set of official addresses, okay, then we can tell the user there, hey, are you sure this airdrop is actually from the actual addresses? Okay, this may not be, this may be malicious. Okay, but at the end of the day, it's you do your DYOR. Okay, but at least we can tell them that. But a normal user wouldn't go back and check all the addresses. Right. So what I'm trying to say is, when people say education, to what level? Okay, well, what other things are being done? Do you go and tell the user don't touch anything? It doesn't work. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. So yeah, true that market education, like market education, is the easiest to get consensus on, right? Like
Yes.
within our access communities, like, oh yes, we should do more market education. But then it does have a limit to how much it can protect the user.
Yes.
Ultimately, when you start executing or deploying assets in real life, then there is a need for, as you say, that pre-check, right? Because we don't have, what do you call this, like established like pre-listing requirements, especially in the decentralized concept. I'm not talking about CFI, right?
Yeah.
You do have security audits for smart contracts, but there again, it's specific to the protocol, not so much. Yeah, like
Exactly. Even
the
those
detail.
audits don't fully
Yeah.
protect. They still get hacked.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Yeah, so that I think that is a useful, to me, it's a form of user or UX governance to check for scams, malicious intent.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I also
yeah.
went to, I mean, as access chair, even in crypto being for so long, obviously I go into things that are more advanced than normal people. And to the point where I also got scammed in those areas,
Mm,
right? So uh, if I get scammed, I'm pretty sure a lot will get scammed. So my point to tell your viewers is that you're not alone. Even myself being crypto, I also got scammed. Okay. And it's in the number over more than 5 digits, right? More than 5 digits.
wow.
Yeah, and then I go to the police. The police told me, Anson, I know your access chair, but do you know that we can't help you, right? So it's just basically going there
Um,
to report. Right? So that's the problem with scams. The recourse isn't really there. And you tell people that you need that we need to educate the people, but educate to what extent? Okay, so this is why I think pre-intelligence is much more needed than post, because post you are helping not the individual user. You're actually helping law enforcement to help recover more funds from illicit funds. But you as an individual user, when you get scammed, majority actually won't get the money back. So
mm,
yeah, so the thing is, we need more than education. We need more intelligence for the user upfront. Uh, yeah, to before they go in. My point I also wrote on LinkedIn is that I'm not if you use the bot, at least we're starting with the bot. We're going to have a full suite software soon. Use the bot. You will realize we are not here to tell you whether the bot is good to go. You make money. We're actually there to say, hey, there is a chance that this may be a scam. We have this for you to see. It's more of a thing to disincentivize them to actually go in, to show them all the red flags, more than so-called inducing them, right? But no one, I don't see many that are doing this on a comprehensive level.
yeah, it's mostly like come farm our airdrops and point systems and whatnot. Yes, the signaling comes more from the project issuers
Yeah.
rather than projects enabling safeguards. Yeah,
Yes.
yes, I feel that's the case. Yeah, because like even within like more mature protocols like Lido, for example, I just like yes, I'm a Lido delegate, but at the same time, I also just for hands-on learning experience, I just deployed some Ethereum to one of their staking pools, but I also did it because I built trust over time, just contributing to their ecosystem. But yeah, I'm just curious to know like what sort of factors do you use in the bot to kind of flag, okay, this is safe, this is not safe. Yeah, I
Mm.
think you mentioned there's TVL and then there's yeah, some other factors
Yes. Yes.
like
So
when it was launched and all. Yeah.
So I do have a social listener of the X engine inside
Mm,
the bot. So it actually looks for the sentiment to tell the user what people are talking about. We
mm,
also then see if you look at the meme coins, we can actually check for you through a combination of different vendors that we have connected to get the data sources that we connected to. If the coin creator is there, the largest LPs, how much they actually still hold, is the revoke of the mint factor there. Can they freeze wallets? All these things we actually go and check for you. And then
mm,
from the different factors that we put in, we then will write a, a short reasoning to tell you, because the bot is not the full
mm,
suite, because we only have the messages. We only have the
mm,
message that we can show.
yeah.
So it will only tell you for that particular one a very short verdict
Mm,
of what we think. Yeah. So we do have a full framework on how to actually evaluate from protocols to tokens. to even the meme coins as well, from understanding the previous creator, if the creator had created other scam coins before, and so on. So there's a full framework behind.
The on meme coins, right? I don't know if is it considered a DeFi investment? I'm not sure. Like you also were thinking of launching the SITS token, right? I'm just curious where your thought process is at on that. Yeah.
I hear people writing this. Maybe it was in the content that was spilled somewhere. But this, I did initially think about it, but it is not the main thing that we're doing right now. If there is a SIT token, it will be really looking into the validation process of what we said, and then the changes. The key to understand that what we say at that point in time will change over time if, for example, that token becomes more malicious or that token becomes well. So at that point in time, and what we say later on will be very different. So hopefully, if we do have that token, but it's very long way into the future. It's not now. It's mostly for verification purposes. Right now, mostly we're focusing on being able to anything under the crypto sky to be able to check for the risk. Not in the risk of whether the token will do well, but in the risk of whether the token is tending towards a scam, fraud, or whatever before you go in.
Oh, sorry, hang on, Anson. I think that someone's trying to dial me at the same time.
Oh,
So
no
let me
problem.
just fix this.
No problem.
Okay. Back. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think I picked up you were mentioning your the advice, the guidance that you provide for each token will evolve over time. And then in terms of like the SITS token roadmap, it's gonna materialize much later lah towards
Much later, yeah.
yeah, in your engineering roadmap because you have other priorities for now. Yeah.
Yes, most important, I think it's not only for retailers. If we can also work with law enforcement on this for pre-checks. Yeah, because the last thing I want to see governments do is trying to gain credit and trying to do ban this and ban that. This doesn't allow, this not allow, and also writing warning checks all the time. It doesn't really help the situation. Yeah, I hope that the pre-check community will grow as I'm doing this. Happy to have competitors in this space, right? Because it's definitely not, it's starting from zero, basically.
Yeah, I'm just curious to know, right? Because it seems to be speaking to more of like real DeFi users, right? That actively engage with protocols like and it's using AI, agentic AI to scale. And in a way it's not a decision maker, but it's more like guardrails, right? Pre-checks. It it detects the surface risks, and then at the same time you don't want to kind of blanket ban people from using protocols, right? You don't want to remove user sovereignty or autonomy. You want to enable them to continue experimenting with DeFi protocols and deploy safely, but then at the same time just give them that safeguard layer.
Correct. So not just the DeFi people. Later, I hope the retailers will also use this, because as I said on LinkedIn, you just can't stop people from going in because it's DeFi. And as you know, regulators always said, right, if they don't have a license, when something happens, it's not under our purview. Right? The DeFi is not licensed, and so what do? You just keep putting out warnings? It doesn't work, right? So it's for users. So the more they use, I believe this pre-check community, if it can grow big, it allows even the protocol launchers or the innovators to understand what else that others will be looking for in the future as we move along. Because if, for example, if people are used to the pre-checks and they check from A to Z, okay, then the protocol or the token creators will know that if they now the community is much more intelligent, they can't just go and launch a token anymore, just anyhow do one, right? It's exactly like when I went to San Francisco 2 odd months ago, and then I was actually very amazed where companies as startups and all the advertising around the city are talking about data security, getting your SOC 2 Type 2 done, ISO 27001 done, make sure it's GDPR compliant and so on. And it's to the point where the cost to do all this is very cheap, but yet it's the amount of time that you need to spend. Here in Asia, we're still talking about in hundreds of thousands of dollars to actually do it. But you actually don't need that amount. In fact, for my private AI NexusDesk, we are leveraging on AI to come up not only with the policies, we're making sure that all the evidence and checks are done in a way for the auditor, bypassing having a compliance officer. Maybe because I was a compliance officer myself, but I was only doing AML checks, anti-money laundering checks, whereas data security is different, but the principles are the same, where there is a set of guidance, you just need to fulfill it. And I really see that I hope this cost will actually come down, because an audit now costs around $5,000-$6,000 for SOC 2. If you can leverage on AI to help you and bypass someone to actually fulfill the guidance, then you save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And with that, the data security standards of startups here will also go up. But that trend is not there yet. But what I saw in SF, it should come here soon, and it should become a benchmark for startups, tech startups, to do SOC 2 even before they even have a product.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I think one of the only few Web3 companies that I saw had SOC 2 was CoinGecko.
Yes.
They're considered very mature already.
So I'm trying to prove people wrong. NexusDesk, I really hope by mid to end next year we can get SOC 2 at a very early stage. This is where I'm trying to prove. And we don't have any extra officers to do it, and can still actually have very good standards for data security.
That's awesome. Is NexusDesk incorporated in Singapore?
In Singapore, yes.
Okay. Nice. Then you hopefully set the benchmark for startups in this region for better data security. I'm just curious, Anson, you did mention that you wanted the pre-check community to grow, and I'm curious in terms of competition. Do you see blockchain intelligence firms like TRM or Elliptic, Chainalysis, etc., as competitors, or is it like completely different target markets?
Well, it's more like I also started this. This is what the second catalyst. I asked Chainalysis if they can do pre-checks. Okay, like basically just very simple. Maybe have a extension on the Chrome browser for someone to check whether the address is malicious or not. Just something simple. Ignored, totally ignored. Okay, they're so busy with the law enforcement and post checks that I guess they're not in this space. So if they do come in, it's good. I mean, as I think if pre-checks becomes crowded, it means DeFi is safer anyway.
Got it.
Yeah. So, but I think they are very busy with their post checks with law enforcement and all that.
Post checks. I see.
Post checks meaning, yeah. So meaning like like for example, Tom Robinson from Elliptic will talk about the recent Huiwan technologies, the scams, and all that. But it's
Mm,
usually talking about it after it happens. Okay, we should
right,
have
right.
information before it happens. Okay, at least have some intel before it happens so that you don't get hit.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yes, yes, because their transaction monitoring reports usually just happens once the transaction is
Done.
done.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. That's a good space to be in. It's a white space. Yeah. Awesome. So, Anson, I just realized like, yeah, finish all my topics. Like we're
Oh,
actually
no
doing
problem. That's
but
great.
but in closing, just like closing questions, what signals do you think we should be amplifying more? We want people like both existing and newcomers to just stay in DeFi, not just like arrive and then just go, get
Oh,
burned and then go. Yeah.
so two
What
sides
yeah.
for the offerings, the people that are doing the DeFi, the innovators. Um, yes, you have to think about how your business model and all that, but always, I think about data security. Don't postpone it.
Mm,
Then you now have AI to do a lot more things, so there is actually no excuse for saying that data security should be postponed. And
mm,
yeah, so that's one thing, because if everybody's data security level goes up and to the point where it can, it is of I will call it enterprise standard, right? Then I cannot say that the hacks will be less or scams will be less, but at the very least, if you think from a very altruistic standard, if everyone's data standards are all up, it's harder for them to go and hack. It's harder for them to scam people, right? Yes, banks, they still get scam. People in the banking world are still trying their hardest to prevent people from getting scammed. They're doing a lot more, right? The DeFi guys should also do the same.
mm.
Um, and then for the users, yes, we keep telling you that education is important, but I think most important for the users, don't get PTSD when you actually get hit. Okay,
Yeah.
treat it as a learning. There's really a lot of new innovation that comes up, and sometimes when you're at the forefront, there might be something you want to do that can become something innovative. Because if you look at the banking world, the central banks and all that, central banks are now talking about what, using so-called blockchain
Mm,
technology, AMMs, like a market making protocols to exchange their currencies. Where is all this innovation from? It's from DeFi,
mm,
right? And the innovation right now, there's the TradFi guys are taking and talking about, saying that they have innovation. It all comes from all the open source side of things. So it's good to it actually is good to be at the forefront, so you know what's there. So don't get discouraged. Do learn from others, but this is also another problem. We don't know who. Just when you have the person you're learning from can be malicious, you just have to stay safe, because there's no way of telling, right? Especially when you're in a DeFi protocol by yourself. I got hit a few times as well. You go into a Discord server, okay, and then the
mm.
scammer's actually waiting for you, right?
Yeah.
This is still a problem that no one talks about.
That's so true. I went into the Hummingbird Discord server recently, and the first thing I got hit was a support ticket by a
Yes.
scammer. It was
Yeah.
actually quite convincing.
Yes. Yeah. If it's convincing for you, imagine the normal people. But the thing is, it's not to get discouraged. And
Yeah,
hopefully, you
correct.
you go and, if you for example, if you get hit and you report to the police, police are just going to do their thing. They ban things, go underground. It also doesn't help as well. So you just have to keep learning. But when you're asking for support, just have your body language feelers on to make sure that you're asking the right people. Discord, to me, I am very, very distrusting of the things there. I'm more trusting of my AI finding the right answer than actually going to the Discord server.
Yeah, how things have evolved. Just send the AI to scout first, and they
Yes.
report back.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I feel like in person, yeah, or like calls, even calls. I kind of like a bit distrustful nowadays. I feel like the in-person meetups and peer learning activities help. Like for example, in Access within the innovation subcom, we did like a hands-on workshop to onboard people into the Ripple ecosystem. This to learn about the XRPL protocol, and it was facilitated by Jordan, who's within he's been building in a Ripple ecosystem for a few years now, and that was safe. Like I felt like okay, this is a safe activity. You want to experiment and like get airdrops and whatnot. It's a safe space. So I feel like Access is a great community
Yes.
space for this peer-to-peer learning. At least we can try things and not have to worry about psychological safety. And
Yes.
it also brings me to like what do you see for Access in 2026? Anson, it's because you've grown Access, ever since it was a baby. And I also have like a few ideas for Access too. Like I wanted in 2026, I was gonna propose an Access Academy idea. So like, having more peer-to-peer type of learning activities, and encouraging them to take quizzes and whatnot for security awareness, because I feel like there's a lot of fragmented education initiatives going around. So I was thinking like Access Academy can like consolidate all these activities and enable Access to also earn a bit of revenue share. Just curious to know your thoughts on this. Yeah.
So key for Access is the trust will be key. As you said, why you feel Ripple discussions within Access is safe is because it's within Access, right? So it's very important to me for 2026 that the one of the main reasons I'm also thinking that I can, after 10 years, I can now pass it on to someone is that the board, the working groups, the subcommittees, they see the mission of where Access is already. Okay, so to the point where new things can come up, new can be done by the stakeholders within Access. And I think, as you know, the Spider-Man quote is, "If you stay too long, you'll become a villain." I also don't. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for the power. I'm also, I have other things to do that I also want to focus on. So 2026 is keep growing the different community activities. And as long as you feel that people are the Access stakeholders still feel that the people within it see Access as a safe house for anything crypto and DeFi, I think that will be a good KPI for 2026.
Yeah, sounds awesome. Yay. We can bring it up for further discussion, like a town hall or something.
Yes, yes,
For
yes, yes,
GM.
for sure, yes.
Okay, finally one last question before we end, Anson. Like because your focus priorities are all mainly on agentic AI innovation. How do you see AI agents shaping trust and safety and participation in crypto markets over the next few years?
So 2 years ago, I was very skeptical of agentic AI because I have been doing things. It will lead to answering a question. I've been doing things with AI. I thought AI can do a lot of things by itself back then. And then things came out totally different from my expectations. It's because the AIs were not smart enough. And now the fast forward at least 365 days from then, you can see people are talking about that the large LLMs need guardrails. To me, that was a very good sign that people are starting to see dangers, right? Because there were news that people that use ChatGPT that commit suicide in the US because somehow the guardrails will break. Guardrails are not meant to be taken for granted that it won't break. It will break one day, and that's the big problem. So guardrails are now added, the LLMs are now smarter. I am now seeing to the point where agentic AI will reach to the point they can actually do things that are useful for people. They will start to question ethics as well. There was a period just 6 to 9 months ago. If you use ChatGPT, they'll say yes to you for everything. They'll say you're right for everything.
Bias.
And they will have the bias, yeah. But now they will be able to have a constructive debate with you, whether you're right or not. I find that very interesting, especially with Claude. It is actually quite objective. Yeah. So if you go another year later down the road, I really think they can do a lot. They can actually accelerate what you if you own a company, what you want to do. They can even warn you of things that may happen. But I think man in the middle is still needed occasionally to see where the AI is. It may have done something that is off. You might need to come in to tell it, hey, you are a bit off tangent. You're supposed to do this. Right now, it's still a bit of that. But I think eventually it can do a lot by itself as long as you have given the right instructions, the right assumptions, the right context for it. It can do quite a lot.
Yeah, so it's a bit of that human supervisor layer
We
is
still need, yeah.
required. But eventually, if it's intelligent enough, someday it will become completely autonomous with minimal intervention.
Yes. So one example now is, for example, I use a Claude with Notion and using the MCP, that the official one, and I have coded my own using AI, of course, my own Reddit and X MCPs that listen into the news out there. And then when I tell AI that they need to write a piece of content, I will then ask it to clarify with the information that comes from X and Reddit. And now it reached to a point where it knows the workflow, because I've written down the workflow, that it will create new content and then it will do the social listening by itself and then it corrects itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
really awesome.
it is coming to a point where it's not overconfident. It's more aware of its workflow, that it may be wrong, that it will correct itself.
That's really cool. Like, I was curious to know, like, how does it self-correct without hallucinating? Like, it needs to have new data, I suppose.
So obviously, when you write the workflow for it, you need to be the workflow will evolve, but it needs to know what your steps are. Just as a basic principle, if you ask AI to do something very long, the later 50% of it you can see hallucinating. It's hallucinating this, but it will still have a bit. So verification is important. Same crypto mindset I have in AI, don't trust, but verify. So whatever it writes, I will ask it, can you do your fact the workflow will actually have it there. You do your fact checking. Fact checking, not just through web sources. I already have the MCPs for social listening for you. You check it first before you come back to me. So the everything that comes to me now through AI must have done a verification check before it comes to me.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Yeah,
a bit advanced. I don't think the retail users are there yet. Normal users are there yet, but it will get there for everyone. That the AIs know that they are not correct at the very first step. It will get there.
Yeah, and good to see AI implementing and scaling guardrails on its own. Yeah, and I think that really concludes your time. So thank you
Yes.
so much, Anson, for coming on to the show and sharing your AI and DeFi building journey with the KatKast audience. And
Thank you for having me.
yeah, I wish you happy holidays and a blessed new year, everyone.
Yes.
Thank
Merry
you for
Christmas and happy holidays,
watching.
everyone. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.